was given to me by John. He has a way of pulling up sermons based on the gospel and the particular day that it is, the proper in the year. I can't give any credit to the person who wrote it because I don't have that information. Back in the before times, before streaming, before cable TV even, back when there were only a handful of TV stations, around this time of year, they always broadcast that beloved classic, The Wizard of Oz. You remember the scene when Dorothy and the gang came back to Oz to meet the great wizard after melting the Wicked Witch? They're escorted into the great reception hall to see the wizard, his giant head floating in the air mysteriously with smoke and flames all around. And Oz's voice bellowing out, full of menace, saying, "Go away, come back tomorrow." And as his voice thunders, Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Lion, and the Scarecrow cower and shake. You can see they're afraid, but also they're confused and angry. But in the midst of all that, Toto, Dorothy's little dog, runs across the room, pulls back the curtain to reveal a little old man, pulling levers and switches and speaking into a microphone. He is reality. There's no big head. There's no magic smoke or flames. No magic at all. Just a scared little man pretending. As we pick up today's story in Luke's Gospel, we find it's been a busy few days for Jesus. Earlier that week, they had arrived in Jerusalem with great fanfare and celebration. The people sang and praised Jesus. Everyone was going on and on about how wonderful Jesus is and how he's the new king come to deliver them from their oppression and all their fears. There are a lot of expectations surrounding Jesus. And he has been very active since that arrival. He's driven the money changers from the temple. His authority to preach and teach has been challenged. People have tried to trick him by asking about the widow who married 7 brothers and about whether or not they should pay their taxes. It's been busy for Jesus already. He's got a lot going on. But what all of this activity is trying to do is to open people up to perceive the deep reality of God that underlies our lives. He is working hard, like little Toto, to pull back the curtain and say, look over there. All of this, he says, the temple, the law, the promised land, your dreams of a warrior king, it's all smoke and loud voices drawing you away, distracting you from God's truth. And yet, after all that week, after all they had seen and experienced with Jesus, the disciples say to Jesus, "Man, that is such a cool temple. It's so awesome. Look at that stonework over there and all the beautiful furnishings and artwork. No one's ever built such a great temple before. Wow, it's really something." I can almost hear Jesus sighing as his shoulders sink. Still, after the month spent with Jesus, after all they've seen, all they've heard, all they've done, they still don't quite get it. And I imagine after taking a deep breath, Jesus responds to them. Jesus points to the temple and the beauty of Jerusalem around him and says basically, "Oh, it will disappear soon enough. Won't be anything left of the place at all. It's not a forever thing. No, not at all. We call it God's house, but God doesn't really live here." And the disciples, well, they're confused. and afraid and probably a little angry, Jesus just won't let that curtain alone. The man they trust more than any other is telling them that the world they know is threatened and that the temple, the center and focal point of their culture, their nation, their religion, the very core they believe about themselves, is going to just disappear. Holy crap. But we shouldn't be too hard on the disciples. For hanging on to the illusions of security, it's not just them, it's us too. Like the disciples, we don't like to see treasured pieces of our lives threatened. If we have even a shred of sense of security, most of us would hold on to it for dear life. We cover up the uncertainty of our own lives and our own futures all the time, much preferring the illusion of safety over the truth that our world and our lives are fragile things. So as the disciples hear Jesus in their confusion and anger and fear, they immediately try to assert some control, to pull the curtain over the uncertainty again by asking, when is this going to happen? What are the signs? Tell us, Jesus, how do we prepare ourselves? You can't. That's what Jesus says. You can't prepare yourselves. You can't insulate yourselves from reality. Oh, there will be signs, Jesus says, but they aren't clear. And there's going to be some pain. So Jesus tells them, you must make up your minds now, and you must commit to trusting and depending only on God. Do not be afraid. Jesus assures the disciples of God's promise to us and encourages them to be bold. Be bold, he says, because I will be with you. I will give you words to say. I will give you the wisdom you need. I will turn oppression into opportunity. Not a hair on your head will perish, for I will always be by your side. I will never desert you. Reality is scary, but God promises to be with us. We may lose our sense of security, but God promises to be with us. We may suffer, but God promises to be with us. We may struggle, but God promises to be with us. Be bold in love. Do not act from your fears. Act from the confidence of God's promise, and God will be with you. Dorothy, the scarecrow, the tin man, and the cowardly lion were an unlikely group to confront the wicked witch with her soldiers and flying monkey army. They were outnumbered. They didn't have much of a plan. They didn't have magical powers or special skills. But they were bold because they were acting from what they thought was a sure promise. But unlike them, we have the promise of God, the Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth. You and I may fret about the world we find ourselves in. There are very scary things out there. We are threatened by it from many sides. But we cannot build sure defenses to keep at bay the scariness of the world forever. But God is active and at work in this world, in this place. God is at work within us, making us new, giving us what we really need when we really need it, here, now, forever. Amen.